Right now on Good Morning America First Look, severe storms, winds topping 90 miles per hour, leaving a trail of destruction from the Chicago area to Ohio. A child killed by a falling tree. This home exploding. Widespread power outages, and now another severe weather threat today.
New details about the secret flight that President Trump took because of a threat from Iran. Trump sneaking into a catering truck. Now we learn just how serious the threat was and who was left inside the decoy plane despite that threat.
Breaking overnight, a potential upset in a closely watched Democratic primary where the Democratic Socialist was leading big in the polls.
36 hours later, the dramatic rescue in the earthquake rubble. We take you to Colombia.
The university facing backlash for getting rid of letter grades to protect students' mental health.
A Little League World Series controversy, why one player was ruled ineligible, and what a judge has now decided.
Plus, new research on how dogs can read our emotions.
And how one girl inspired a new kind of goldfish cracker.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Mattal. We begin with the ferocious storms slamming the Midwest, now turning deadly.
A young child is among the victims, and more storms are set to hit the same area today.
Powerful and deadly storms sweeping across the Midwest were strong enough to flip over this car on a highway in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh my God.
Blinding rain making driving treacherous. In the Chicago area, winds topping 90 miles per hour. Multiple tornadoes touching down. This semi-truck rolled on its side. Downed power lines sparking a fire, engulfing a home in flames. Other houses torn apart. Massive trees uprooted.
I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful that everyone is okay, but this is devastating.
The storm's also hammering Indiana. Debris sent flying, this inflatable pool going airborne. In the city of Portage, one person was killed after this house exploded. Officials believe weather was a factor, calling it one of the worst weather events in the city's history.
I've been a resident of this city for 50 years, and I think this is probably one of the worst things that we've ever had to go through.
A 4-year-old child was also killed in the state after a tree fell on a home. The downpours triggering flash flooding, washing out roads and leaving drivers stranded. Water rising to the roofs of these cars in Perry County, Ohio. And nearby Roseville, one person died after floodwaters prevented emergency crews from reaching them. Across the storm zone, hundreds of thousands of customers left without power. The outages expected to last for days in some areas.
And more storms are expected today from St. Louis to Indianapolis.
New details overnight about the secret flight that President Trump took leaving the NATO summit last month because of a threat from Iran. We're learning more about just how serious that threat was. ABC's Karen Hua has the details. Karen, good morning.
Hannah, good morning. For the first time, President Trump is speaking publicly about that secret flight as we learn who was left behind on Air Force One while the president quietly switched planes. This morning, chilling new details about the secret flight that President Trump took to leave the NATO summit in Turkey last month amid threats from Iran. The president reportedly hiding inside a catering truck to depart on a military jet instead of Air Force One. Now, the New York Times reports U.S. intelligence had picked up a specific threat of a surface-to-air missile attack on Air Force One. Someone near the NATO summit had reportedly been spotted with a shoulder-fired missile. The president says the decoy flight operation was not his call.
I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask too much about it. I get a lot of threats. I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety.
ABC News has learned Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stayed on board Air Force One, but knew Trump had switched planes. The aides and reporters around them did not. Democrats want answers and are now demanding a congressional briefing.
I want to know what precautions were taken to make sure that all of the passengers on that Air Force One, which was judged too dangerous for the president to fly on, what precautions were taken to keep the staff and reporters on that plane safe.
Asked why the plane was too dangerous for him, but not for the press, the president saying this.
I think actually the plane that I flew on was at greater risk. I think it was at greater risk because that would be the plane I think that they would be more likely to go for.
Now, some experts are skeptical Iran could have pulled off such an attack, but a former U.S. ambassador to Turkey says the secrecy points to very good intelligence of a threat. Sophie?
Certainly more to unfold here. Karen, thank you. A dramatic scene after the devastating earthquake in Colombia. A woman was rescued from the rubble of a collapsed building overnight. She'd been trapped there for 36 hours. That followed a remarkable scene hours earlier when a baby and his mother were pulled from the debris. The death toll now tops 200 people, but thousands are missing. ABC's Faith Abube is there.
Right now, we're in the middle of an army of community volunteers. They've been working nonstop, digging through this rubble with their bare hands and buckets. Every few minutes, they call for silence so they can hear if there are any survivors.
A U.S. disaster assistance team is now in Colombia helping to organize rescue efforts.
A U.S. Marine veteran held in a Russian prison for 4 years is now back on U.S. soil. Robert Gilman was released on humanitarian grounds due to concerns about his health. And he got a phone call from President Trump. 32-year-old was accused of kicking a Russian police officer. Gilman's family said his treatment in prison left him unable to eat or respond. He'll now be treated at a military hospital in Texas.
Breaking overnight, primary results are in from multiple states. A potential upset could be in the works in the Wisconsin governor's race, where Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong had a big lead in the polls, but was trailing overnight. Here's ABC's Lana Moise.
This morning, results are coming in as 6 states held primaries for governor, Senate, and House seats. In South Carolina, voters deciding who will replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham after his sudden passing last month. His sister Darlene, who was appointed to finish his current term, placing first among the candidates, now advancing to a primary runoff.
This is a very emotional night.
But the big headline is in Wisconsin in the closely watched race for governor, the race too close to call. Overnight, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley holding a slim lead over Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong, who had a commanding lead in the polls. Hong has faced criticism for her past statements about abolishing police and opposing the Thanksgiving holiday, saying we should stop celebrating colonialism. She recently walked back those statements.
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving because I
There
love
you have it.
Thanksgiving. Yep. I don't want to cancel it. I actually love it.
Meanwhile, a generational fight in the Democratic Party in Connecticut. John Larson, who was seeking his 15th term, was defeated by former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin. Larson becomes the 7th Democratic incumbent nationwide to lose a primary this cycle. And in Minnesota,
we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0.
MyPillow founder Mike Lindell losing the Republican primary for governor to Lisa DeMuth, who will now take on Senator and former presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar in November. Analysts are closely watching that race in Wisconsin as Democratic primary voters across the country decide whether to embrace more so-called progressive candidates or support more moderate candidates that could potentially have better odds of winning a general election in the fall. Hannah, Sophie?
Lionel, thank you. A legal controversy involving the Little League World Series has now been settled. A team from Oklahoma was disqualified from their regional tournament because one player did not live within a certain area required to be on the team. What cleared the way from a team from Texas to advance to the tournament. Parents of the Oklahoma team got a temporary restraining order, seemingly putting them back on the field. But a judge yesterday dissolved that order, sending Texas to the series. The Oklahoma parents insist their kids did nothing wrong.
Time now for your Wednesday weather.
Good Wednesday morning. A little less hot, a little less humid in the Northeast today. The Northwest still unfortunately dealing with the smoky sunshine and poor air quality. In the center of the country, that's where we're seeing some trouble spots. For the Mid-South, scorching heat. We're looking at actual air temperature in Oklahoma City in the triple digit heat indices for so much of the Mid-South. And then the upper Midwest over into the Ohio Valley. That's where we see a severe threat firing up this afternoon through this evening. I'm meteorologist Danny Beckstrom for ABC News.
Coming up, preparations for today's solar eclipse.
Yeah, also had the university facing backlash for getting rid of letter grades to protect students' mental health.
And later, Rod Stewart's announcement about his health. We are back with preparations at the famous Blue Lagoon in Iceland ahead of today's total solar eclipse. Now, tourists have been flocking there from around the world. Iceland and northern Spain are the only inhabited places on the path of totality, but early this afternoon, the northeast U.S., including New York and Boston, may notice a slight dimming of the sun because of the partial eclipse. But tonight, all of us could potentially see the peak of the Perseid meteor shower. Look toward the northeast between midnight and dawn.
A major university is rolling out a controversial new policy. Pretty soon, some students won't have to worry about grades.
One of the country's largest public universities will soon be doing away with letter grades for some freshmen to protect their mental health.
They need time to figure things out.
Beginning next fall, instead of getting an A, B, C, or D, some first-semester freshmen at the University of Michigan will get only a pass or no credit. And neither designation will count toward their GPA. The university says this will allow students to explore a subject that may not come easily to them, or take a course in a new field without the fear that a low grade may have long-term consequences.
I showed up wanting to study chemical engineering. I bombed all of my first-year classes. And soon discovered that chemical engineering was not for me.
The school says the goal is to help students start strong and curb the mental health crisis unfolding among college-aged individuals. Critics say the university is coddling students. One education policy expert saying swaddling college students does not actually improve their mental health, it creates entitlement. Others disagree.
That kind of sink or swim argument about higher education simply doesn't hold water. Higher education should be a pathway for upward mobility for all who enter through this university's doors.
Michigan isn't the only school system rethinking what's healthy for students. In Los Angeles, the nation's second largest school district is rolling out some of the strictest limits on screen time in the country as students head back to class today. The new rules call for no screen time at all until second grade. Second and third graders get 20 minutes a day. Fourth and fifth graders get 30. Middle schoolers will soon be limited to 1 hour per class per week. High schoolers, a half hour more than that.
Some teachers are pushing back, saying kids need to learn to use their devices responsibly. Others worry the limits will hurt students who don't have computers at home.
TikTok is facing another lawsuit, this time from Pennsylvania. The state attorney general's accuses the platform of failing to protect young people from becoming addicted to the app and claims TikTok is marketing itself to teens despite adult content. TikTok says the lawsuit relies on misleading claims and ignores the safety measures the company has implemented. A similar case against Instagram parent company Meta goes to court today in California. Meta saying it's confident the evidence will show the company's long-standing commitment to supporting young people.
Coming up, the driver who just set a record at 400 miles per hour.
Crazy. But first, a decision about the upcoming trial of accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione. That's Rod Stewart and his classic Forever Young. The singer has announced he's canceling the rest of his tour this year. The 81-year-old reportedly underwent a routine coronary stent procedure. He's also battled thyroid and prostate cancer in the past. He says he's feeling better and plans to return to the stage.
Accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione was back in a New York courtroom ahead of his murder trial set to begin next month. The judge announced that the jury will remain anonymous when Mangione is tried for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The judge saying if the jurors' names were released, they could face harassment or improper outside influence. He cited multiple disruptions already outside the courthouse.
We turn now to the need for speed. One driver just set a record while trying to spark interest in what he claims is the fuel of the future.
This morning, the fastest man on wheels has done it again, this time powered by hydrogen.
406.320.
British driver Andy Green hit 406 miles per hour on Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats, a world record for a hydrogen-powered car, easily shattering the old record. The retired fighter pilot is the only person ever to break the sound barrier in a car, setting the all-time land speed record in 1997. But this time, his 32-foot car burned hydrogen, using engines adapted from construction equipment.
You burn hydrogen, water comes out of the exhaust. It doesn't get any cleaner than that.
It comes as many look to alternative fuel sources amid rising gas prices. But hydrogen has its fair share of skeptics. One problem? Most of it is currently made from fossil fuels, so it's only as clean as its source. Elon Musk has been criticizing hydrogen power for more than a decade.
Hydrogen is an energy storage mechanism. It's not a source of energy. So you have to get that hydrogen from somewhere. It's just very difficult to make hydrogen and store it and use it in a car.
Green sees it differently, arguing anyone with sunshine and water can make their own fuel.
It is the first of a new breed of vehicle.
As for Green's all-time speed record, which was 763 miles per hour in a jet-powered vehicle, no one has even come close to breaking that.
Unbelievable. Coming up, new research on how dogs can read our emotions.
Plus, how one girl inspired a new kind of goldfish cracker.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with a new study on dogs and how perceptive they can be.
Some dogs can apparently read human emotions way better than we thought. Researchers say dogs can actually decipher negative emotions, such as knowing the difference between fear and anger or fear and sadness.
The study looked at the MRIs of border collies, which are known to be highly intelligent. Next, more people will soon be able to enjoy a popular snack.
Goldfish crackers will soon come gluten-free. It's all thanks to fans who reached out to the company, including a little girl named Brooklyn.
Yes, so she sent a letter explaining that she can't eat her favorite snack anymore because of celiac disease. The new fish hit stores in November. A change at Domino's Pizza. It'll soon offer personal-sized pizzas. They're calling it the Domino, aimed at a growing number of Americans eating alone these days.
And some news from McDonald's, the company introducing its first energy drink. It blends Red Bull's original flavor with blue raspberry syrup and freeze-dried dragon fruit. Next, the Chicago White Sox honoring their most famous fan,
Pope Leo. Fans last night received a so-called Pope hat. Many decided to take photos by the Pope's mural in the stadium and on the mound. Sister Mary Jo threw out the first pitch. The Sox are leading their division this year. It's a little Pope luck. And finally, we're told this was not a setup.
Singer Shabuzi just happened to be coming down the river in Mammoth Lakes, California, just as this couple was getting married, and certainly made for an unforgettable ceremony there. Look at him.
Pictures are definitely going to be memorable.
Yes. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, the New York Times reports President Trump took a secret flight home from Turkey last month because of a surface-to-air missile threat targeting Air Force One. Trump secretly flew home on a military jet after hiding inside a catering truck.
A U.S. helicopter fired 2 missiles, disabling a cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. says that ship was trying to break the blockade on Iranian ports, and its crew ignored repeated warnings.
A big loss for progressives in the primary for Wisconsin governor. Moderate David Crowley narrowly defeated Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong, even though Hong had a big lead in the polls. She made headlines recently for walking back her previous statement opposing the Thanksgiving holiday.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot is up to $1 billion. That's the game's 8th largest grand prize ever.
Today's weather, severe storms in the Midwest and in some of the same areas recovering from yesterday's deadly storms. Smoky skies in the Northwest.
And finally, prom fashion that really sticks.
Here's Danny New.
Many high schoolers, like this reporter, probably rented their prom outfit. But for the 26th year, students from across the country once again competed in Duct brand's annual Stuck at Prom Scholarship Contest, where they construct their tuxes and dresses entirely out of duct tape.
The previous winners, they all had really eye-catching dresses. You look at it and you're like, wow, damn, that's huge.
This year's winner in the dress category, Sophie Flay, says she studied champions of duct tape past. Just check out 2002, when the couple was perhaps getting ready to storm a castle. But as a matter of fact, Sophie's dress also presents as quite regal with her strawberry cake design.
I had to make a metal wire petticoat under it, and it would collapse.
This recent high school graduate from California says her process included 35 rolls of duct tape and the creation of that metal frame to complete her vision.
Was it comfortable to wear, or is it just really heavy?
Oh, it's really heavy. It leaves bruises on my shoulders after I wear it.
Meanwhile, designing outfits is nothing new for this year's duct tape tuxedo winner. Michigan's Jeremiah Constantine plans to study fashion design when he leaves for college this year.
What inspired this look?
It's inspired by like the Met Gala and like couture fashion.
Jeremiah says his, quote, dramatic getup required 41 rolls of duct tape as he used the powers of adhesion to assemble his cape, pants, and a whole bunch of jewelry. However, for the record, neither Jeremiah nor Sophie actually wore their outfits to prom, but they wore them long enough to score $10,000 and a little bit of extra pride to take with them to college.
When you were finished, were you like, I made a masterpiece?
I was pretty impressed.
One thing Sophie said she appreciated about this scholarship was that it wasn't just about writing an essay. She got to express herself by creating a piece of art instead, like this.
Bravo. Well, this Sophie definitely appreciates that art. Great job, you guys. That's your GMA First Look.
Have a great day.